Please hit the subscribe button for more content.
Hello, welcome to this video from footballbetdata.com. It's Chris here, just with a follow-on video from sort of tying in with the recent racing bet data videos we did, where we gave a tutorial, if you like, on how to use the data outputs from the data dashboard on the racing bet data site and implement slicers as a means of allowing you to analyze data fairly quickly, easily, and tailored to your own liking. We're going to do the same again here because people have asked us, can we do the same for football bet data? Well, the simple answer is yes, absolutely. What we showed you in that video was not specific to the output. The output was racing data, but you can use slices, pivot tables for any data source. It was just the example that we were using. So yeah, you can apply the same to football bet data, but if it makes it easier for people to see it, feel it, smell it, touch it, we will do this video. And again, it's designed to trigger ideas. This is not a video to say this is what you need to do and select in your slices or in your filters to give you a profitable system. The good thing that I've seen from the RBD videos is that people have understood that, taken that on, and then developed their own strategy on the back of it and used the tips and the techniques that we showed in those videos in the way of developing, designing, and testing to then implement those further forward. So it's really, really good to see some of the feedback that we're getting in the emails and the comments that we're having back from people saying how they've taken that and it's given them an extra string to their bow. So the main aim of this video is to do the same. Like I said, we're going to be doing very similar, using slicers. There's nothing within the data that we're going to be using or the slicers. I'm just going to be using those to generate some output and hopefully ideas. So those of you familiar with the football bet data website will know there are two main means of exporting data. Obviously, we have the daily download file, which are stored in archived away in daily separate files because they're generated standalone daily files. But to access from the dashboard or the database, you have these two main options. Now, the data dashboard, this is specifically designed for system creation, if you like. So it allows you to filter and design and save your criteria using the managed selections panel based on odds ranges, our score predictions, the seasons, months and years that we've got the data for instance, specific leagues. Whereas the fixtures and results output, which we're going to use here, is the best means to export unfiltered data. I'm saying unfiltered, we're still going to filter by leagues, but there are no restrictions in there in terms of score predictions or odds ranges or anything else like that applied. This is sort of broad brush data extraction. And what I'm going to do is export the four main English leagues for the current season and the last season as well. I'm going to send that to Excel and I'll hop back onto the video on my other screen. It's a bigger screen, so we get more content visible on the video. So I'm going to click the export. This file is going to create. It won't take long. Like I said, 4 leagues, 2 seasons. It's not a massive output. There you go. It's all ready to go. And I will hop over to the other screen and catch you in a second.
Okay, so here is the exported data that we have straight into Excel table. This is how it comes to you, presented. Like I said, we've got the past 2 seasons, well, the current season, what's left of it as well, and the last season data. Now, I could have exported more, I could have done different leagues, so purely for demonstration purposes. Okay, so you've got your normal headings across the top there, and all of the odds ranges are in there as well. Obviously, they're not visible on screen purely because it would be a nightmare for you as a user to scroll through each one of those different headings on screen. So that's why they're available on the Outlook rather than the screen, the cut down version that you see on the screen. Now what I want to do is add in a couple of columns here before we start creating our slicers, and that is just to group some of the odds ranges together. Now odds range, the odds that we pull through, so we've got the home odds, average odds, average home in this instance, which are the average odds offered by the bookmakers offering prices on that market. And then we have the Betfair Exchange home odds. That is the closing price from the Betfair Exchange. So that could have been a lay, could have been a back. That was the closing price that they passed through to us. And like you can see here, the roundings of these are to 2 decimal points. To group these together, we're going to bucket them into groups of 0.1. So anything that would be 3.05 would be rounded up to a either down to a 3.0 or up to a 3.1. So here that would be rounded down to evens. So it fall within the 2 to 2.10 bracket. So I'm going to do that just so you can get more games together in the similar price band, okay? And obviously, you know, odds can fluctuate quite a lot. So getting similar ones together gives you a bigger sample size to play with. So let's just say Betfair home 1, Betfair draw 1, and Betfair away 1. And then we can convert these odds quite simply using a function within Excel that is built in called round. And we want to round the Betfair Exchange home odds to number of digits 1, to 3.1. And that automatically populates all the way down. So as I said, you've then taken out that last digit will always be a 0, so you're rounding to 0.1. We do the same for draw and away. Now the quickest way to do this is simply copy the I've lost the paste there. Copy the formula that we use in the home, paste it into draw, and then just change the H to a D. You could do it the same way as I did for the home, where you select the column and type it out, but this is by far the quickest way. So you now have all of the games banded by 0.1 on the Betfair odds. Now we started populating Betfair odds into the Football Bet Data database July 2022. So these games should all be populated. There may be the odd one that's missing, but anything before that, that we didn't have the Betfair Exchange odds feeds, we had the bookmaker feed instead. So this is where, I mean, you can use the average bookmaker price. I'm using Betfair in this example, but like I said, we've got the bookmaker price going back to games back to the late 90s. So you've got a bigger range there, but I know most people, certainly traders, obviously prefer working with odds from the Betfair Exchange, which is what we're doing here. Okay, so we'll put those in. Now, profitability, that'll be a key thing to look at. Now, we obviously have the average return, the average correct score return. So these are bookmakers, so we can almost hide these out because I'm not going to be using these or referring to them. And then we have the Betfair return and the lay return. Now, you can see here that these have zeros in them. And you may be thinking, why is that? Those games are completed. Well, the answer is there's no score predictions. So these odds that you see here on the output are based on our predicted score. Now games, opening 5 games of the season, 5 home games and 5 away, there is no recent data to allow us to accurately predict the score. So those don't kick in until the teams have played on their 6th home or 6th away game of the season. So you'll always get games at the beginning of the season with no profitability showing against our predictions, because those predictions haven't kicked in yet. All right, so that's why you're seeing those. But on the website itself, if you go to the profitability table, so if you export your data on the dashboard, you'll see on the profit tables down the bottom, there is tables and calculations based on home, win, draw, away, regardless of our prediction. So that's one way you can analyze on the screen, or you can do it as I'm going to do it here, very simply in these tables. So let's say Betfair profit. Let's call it back prof. Okay. Now what we want to do is say if let me go to result equals home. So if this was a home win, what we want to do is use the Betfair home odds. So we can do this -1, and then I always use 10. So that would say if we backed that as a home win and it came in, which it didn't, it's false, it would return a profit of 20.5. Now you actually want to do that and factor in some commission. So if I do 0.98, that factors in a 2% commission, okay? That was false, so obviously it wasn't a home win. So then what we can say is if the result was a draw, and I'm just going to put a comma there and then go back in this way so you can see the formula. We've done that first part. Now if the result was a draw, we would do the same again, but using the draw odds. So put a bracket, we want to -1 to take away the stake and then times it by 0.8. And then we want to do if away win. Now I could just put the formula in here, but there might be some games in here where we don't have a result, so we don't want it assuming that that was an away win because that would be blank. Now I could delete these from the data set, but this is the more robust way of doing it to exclude any games that haven't been played. So if result equals away, bracket, and we do the same again. We look at the Betfair odds for the away win. We -1, and then we times it by 9.8. And if it's false, we just want that to be blank. If I miss something out there, there we go, an extra bracket. So that shows us the profitability if we were backing or returning the outcome of that game. Okay. Now what we can do actually is put in here home prof, draw prof, away prof, and split these out. So in here what we'll be doing is very similar to what we've just done. In fact, we probably won't even use this column, but I'm just showing you how you can combine it all in one. If the result was a home win, let's do that. -1 times 9.8. 9.8, get it right. If it wasn't -10, so it's a loss. Okay, so it's showing a 10 unit stake. Now I can copy this over just to save time. So if it was a draw, then we want to use that. That should be -10, and then we can do the same again, and this should show a profitable amount matching what is in column BW. And there we have it. Okay, so a very quick way of working out your profitability. Let's convert these for my OCD purposes to currency, so you can see the red, the loss, obviously. Now I can hover over that and see that backing each one of these all result in a loss, as you would expect. Just blind backing, excuse me. Now that's the data table set up. You can do whatever you want to do. I always harp on about additional helper columns, and that's exactly what we've done here. Now there are other videos on our YouTube channel which I recommend you go and watch if you haven't already, specifically around things like splitting out the goal times, so you can then understand the flow of a game. We've done videos on the channel on that, on how many teams teams come from behind. If you embed that sort of information with slicers, you've got a very powerful tool to understand how, maybe not team specific, but in certain leagues where teams are in certain odd brackets, if the score is X at 60 minutes, what's the likelihood of another goal? If the score is Y after 10 minutes, what's the chance of a goal in the first half? All of the data is here. It's all in here. You just have to unwrap it. And that's, that's our role. That's why our data is so affordable. It's in a raw data form. Everybody will have a different use and a different plan or way they want to execute their system, their strategy, their trading, whatever it is. So this is the fun part. If it was all on a plate, everybody would be doing the one same thing, and any value that had been discovered that way would soon be eradicated. So there is a little bit of an element of work to do, but that is why the data is so affordable and so available as quickly as we have shown you how to do it without too much confusion on the screen. So let's get back to what I was talking about, which was the slicers. Let's add another tab in here and call it pivot. We're going to create our famous pivot tables. We all love a pivot table now, don't we? And let's select the full data range. And this was the purpose, obviously, of the video, was slices. How do we use them? Let's use results. I'm using the full-time result across the top here, and we can use some of profitability in here, sum of draw, sum of away. In fact, we probably don't need the result in there, do we? We can just leave it as such. Okay, so we have the basic, what I've just shown you on the other tab where I highlighted those columns. We have that same information visible now in a pivot table, okay, with nothing else controlling it. Just flick it to these for OCD purposes again. Now, slicers. This is where we go, insert a slicer. Now, what do you want to do? What do you want to see to control these outputs? So we can maybe have a home team as one, or we could have a league. We could use our score predictions if we wanted to see how teams performed. But I'm going to keep this very simple and just look at the new helper column that we've added in, which is the home odds. So let's pick a team. Well, actually, let's add one more in. Let's add in another slicer. And let's, I'm not sure what we've done there. Let's go back here and add in a slicer. And let's add in halftime result. That's a slicer. Okay, so let's look at one of the higher performing teams lately. Actually, the first thing we want to do is just make sure we've got a sort on these. So we can, if you select one and then right click it, sort A to Z, it should come through sorted, but it might not. Okay, let's select Man City. All right, let's have a look at them. I'm just going to look at team specific. So Man City, if you had backed all of their games, this is the outcome. So backing draws in this instance was a profitable outcome. Let's filter by where they've been odds on, heavily odds on. So if you want to select more than one, I've selected one here. Just by clicking, you select one. But if you hold the Shift key, you can then select more than one. So let's say where Man City's Betfair exchange odds were between 1.01 and 1.6. You can see here the pivot table has changed. The profitability is £11.74 backing the home, £11.55 backing the draw. Let's have a look at how these tables look when they were not winning at half time. Well, let's see, they hadn't scored at half time, for instance. Let's put these in 0-1, 0-2, 0-0, and there's no others. So there haven't been any 0-3, 0-4s because they're greyed out. You can see that there. Okay, now you can see here Man City, where their games matching this criteria, backing 10 unit stakes, £5.43 profit. If you've been backing the away team from the off in those scenarios, a £70 loss. Okay, so you can understand that if Man City are odds on, or between 1.01 and 1.06, and they're drawing at half time or haven't scored in the first half, the likelihood is that overall you'll be profitable. Okay, if you put that on before the match started. Now, I did mention earlier that we could then go to the next level, which is splitting out these goal times. Again, I'm not going to do that again. I've already done it in other videos. But what you could do with those new helper columns, if you add these to the right-hand side, and we have that as an example download file already done for you, you can then start adding those slicers in as well, saying what the score was at 40 minutes or 50 minutes, 0-0. What's the likelihood of a home win? So I've put this in as profit here, but we can do it the way I was going to do it at the beginning, which is looking at the result. And I'm just going to sort this to get it in the right order. There's no away wins here. Move the order around. Home draw, and there's no away wins in this criteria that I've selected, but if I kill this, there's an away win there. Let's bring it in here. And then we can put a count in, so use date as the value, and that shows you how many games there are. So of these, let's filter this back again. Of these games for Man City in the last 2 seasons, where they've been, their starting odds have been 1.01 to 1.6, and the score at half-time, there was no home goals in the first half. They would win 6, draw 1 out of the 7 games. So that's how you can use your slicers very quickly and very easily to generate some outputs for football data. Now, like I said, this isn't system oriented. I've not picked these slicers for any reason other than to generate some output. And use Man City, everybody knows them, everybody knows how strong they are at home. But I could have picked any number of slicers to go in there, the league. Obviously, there are quite a few people that favour league dynamic and see value in that. So that could be an option. You put your league dynamic in as a slicer. You want to see how many games where the score is 0-0 after 60 minutes, how many times another goal is scored. So you can use the total goal, actual total goal column there to work that out as well. So the options are endless, but slicers and pivot tables will get you there quicker. Probably the quickest means and the easiest means to manipulate this data and give you the output you want. There are numerous ways and means in terms of getting a result as to what you want to see, or deriving an edge, profitable system, trading angle, whatever it may be that you're looking for. It's impossible for me to go down each one of those avenues, because what suits one person doesn't suit another, different strokes, different folks, and all of that. But my role is showing you the data, how it sits, how you can potentially expand upon that. Like I said, I'm not going to cover it all in one video. We've done several other videos, and I always recommend that you go off and watch those carefully. It doesn't have to be all digested in one go. Watch it in split sessions, or watch it 2, 3, 4, 5 times, however many times it takes until you understand. Go away and look at Google, other YouTube videos as well. There's a lot of assistance, free, available help out there. Use our example downloads. But if you're using pivot tables, if you're using slicers, you're well on your way to being on that right track to being able to create and maintain a profitable system. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more useful content.